Welcome to the Roundtable Podcast. Guys, we would like to welcome you today on this nice, beautiful Sunday in undisclosed area location, though. But we like to welcome you today, guys. And my throat is hoarse. Jaddy, do we got any water bottles in the back? Check that refrigerator and bring me a water bottle up here. But anyway, guys, we thank you for joining the show. We know it takes a minute for people to pop in. We have a very interesting show today. Topic one that's a little touchy. We don't like to talk about these topics because we think that if we do, people will come against us, or we just seem like the oddball. We get it, but it is definitely an interesting topic. And we're going to be playing a couple of videos. I want to let you guys know about the Fair Use Act, because we will be using the Fair Use Act on these videos that we'll be playing. They're only for educational purposes, and that's the reason why we're playing these videos, just to educate in what we're talking about, to bring it adds value to what we're talking about. So if you see any videos, that's the purpose of the video that we're playing. But we're definitely going to get into this topic. Before we get into it, we like to thank everything. And I know RW, I think you were about to say something. But before we get into the topic, we just like to thank everybody for joining our podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe, to share this page, guys. We would love that you share it. We love that you leave comments. You're welcome to leave comments. We actually welcome you to leave comments, so we can get into this conversation. No comment to me is stupid. Some can be questionable, but we want you guys to join in and talk with us. Whether you're from LinkedIn, shout out to our LinkedIn viewing audience, our YouTube viewing audience, our Facebook viewing audience. Shout out to, if you go to our website to visit our website, guys. We welcome all comments, and like and subscribe, and share this page. But RW3, was you about to say something? I don't know about you. Was about to say something.
No. I'm good.
Okay, but yeah, we have a special guest. Yes. I think that, do we have anything to introduce our special guest, or does RW3 going to do it?
RW3 going.
RW3, I want you to welcome our guest. You know about our guest more than we do, obviously. Yes. So would you please share about this guest?
Miss Z. I'm gonna call her Miss Z. She's in real estate. She's in mental health. She's like a jack of all, master of none. Look at the look on her face. And and also she's a parent who will be able to bring a lot of value, because she's coming really from a parental capacity today, and not those other things. Just to add value to the discussion, who had a child who experienced some of those challenges in the school system, and how it impacted her child, her family. So we having a real person here, I thought it would be great to give a real life depiction of how this went down. Did any other value, because she has a whirlwind of knowledge. After she's in your camp, Tone, she talked to me quite a bit about eating right. So y'all are twins.
Yeah.
About eating and what you put in your body.
Yeah.
Actually, I teased her before we came on. I said you and Tone could be like cousins when it come to where y'all question stuff. So y'all like Cheech and Chong.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, hey, we
Right.
welcome
We
you.
welcome
Welcome you,
you.
our fellow
Yes, yes,
comrade, our
yes.
fellow comrade. We welcome
We
our fellow
welcome you to
comrade.
the round table.
That's right. We welcome you to the round table. And guys, we'll get into the topic. There's I've always started this podcast off by saying there's so much information. There's so many things that's going on, and it's hard to stay up on everything. You know, I'm going to say this. It's off the topic, but it kind of blown me away. Well, I heard this pastor today, and I think it was today or yesterday, who made a statement. He said, and what do you guys think about this? It's not on the same what we're talking about, but he said that abortion is way heavier than slavery could ever be. He said a slavery wasn't as bad as abortion today. And I thought that was crazy to me. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I'm like, this guy said that slavery was not as serious or as bad as abortion is today. And I mean, and I looked at and when I heard that statement, he was a evangelical, and I thought that was to me. I don't know. I read the comments, and it's like when I was reading the comments, I looked down, and it's like no one had. It's like this guy. They heard everything else but what he said. It just blew past them, and they would just say, "Oh, this pastor did a good job in the word today." And I'm like, did anybody hear what I just heard? This man said that slavery is worse than abortion
He said
is.
abortion was worse. Yeah.
Yeah, abortion is
Switch it.
worse than slavery. And I'm like, I thought that slavery, these people were alive when they were beaten, abused. Children were fed to alligators alive, not in your stomach. I mean, I don't know. I just thought it was me. I don't know. I thought that was the most craziest thing. Guys, comment if what do you think about that? From just that statement that do you believe that abortion today is worse than slavery? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just tripping. Maybe
I, I, I'm trying to figure out what his supporting argument would be. I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to play with it in my brain. Abortion and slavery. It's hard for me to even compute the
yeah,
unequal equivalency between the two. I
the
mean,
two. I just thought that
uh,
was stupid. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. I
I'm
digress.
not a female. Maybe from a female perspective, Lady BZ, what do y'all think?
Oh man. Um it's really hard to compute kind of like you said those two because those are really on two different
Yeah,
spectrums.
yeah. Well, he
I
was
can't
basing
really
it on how many babies have
have
been
been
aborted.
versus
How many children have died in terms of
like
evilness, you know what I mean, and God coming back to repay for evil, you know what I mean. And he said it would be more due to abortion
then
than it would
slavery.
to be to slavery, because we look at slavery that have happened so many years ago, and then there's been an anniversary for the Tulsa.
Yeah,
What was that?
Tulsa
1921.
was it?
Yeah,
1921,
1921. I think it was their anniversary
for
for
burning down that
yeah,
town.
100 years.
Yeah.
And that they were showing that as our anniversary of that happening. And there's a great documentary out on that as well, if you would like to check that out. And it's like we put everything and then he also talked about Black Lives Matter being an issue, Black Lives Matter, guys, I told you guys that years ago. I mean, when it first came out, you need to stay away from that Black Lives Matter issue. I mean, so many, I was listening to this guy, and I had to go pray. I just had to go pray. I was so frustrated listening to this guy. But anyway, I mean, and see, my thing was he was talking to a lot of people that looks like him, the church, and I thought that was just could be so profound in people's minds of how they are perceived what you're saying. You're washing this off like it's no big deal. So when everybody see somebody say something about Black Lives Matter, they're gonna think about him, especially if he's, if he's mentoring them, if he's ministering to them. They probably will play it off. Yeah, I remember the pastor said, don't worry about that. But my thing is that, the Black Lives Matter situation, and I'm just adding because whenever I can have a voice, I throw it in. I'm not saying what he said was wrong, but I'm saying that he thinks that everybody who says Black Lives Matter is comparing themselves to the organization. You know what I mean? And not the content of what's said. The context of what's happening, in terms of Black Lives Matter. He said, yeah, Black lives do matter. And we're not saying that they don't, but this company, what they're saying is they kind of evil. That's what he was saying. You know what I mean? And whether they're evil or not, I just don't want you to erase that Black lives don't matter and don't connect them with the organization. Whether the organization is. So if you out there, if you listen to, I forget the pastor's name, but they do Black lives. He said they matter, but don't compare the organization, because the organization, they is throwing a lot of stuff out there on the organization now, and a lot of lights has been turned on and all that stuff. So I'm not supporting the organization. I'm supporting the words that are being said, that they do matter. But I digress from that as well. But guys, let's get into this topic at hand, where it's we're living in a day where you actually have to watch what you say. And you have to watch what you say. I mean, and you're being accountable to what you say. Trust me. I mean, you're being held accountable for the words that come out of your mouth these days, in terms of how other people feel. It started. I mean, it started off even to Cher's son, or son. I think he was a woman. He transferred to a man, and it went from there to, what is that, Dwayne Wade son, turning, changed over to a woman, a female, wants to be called I forget her name, then it turns to what's his name, Jenner, what's his name,
Bruce Jenner.
Bruce Jenner, and and then and I get it, even in school, in college, especially in college. I remember one of my years in school where I think it was my Photoshop class. It was this person sitting in the back. He had a dress on, and which it's so obvious what's going on. I forget the dress. What did you call it? Did they call it when it come all the way up? I know the kids know the name of it.
Oh, you talking about pencil, like the pencil,
yeah.
Okay.
She had that on with the tennis shoes on, sitting in the back. You know what I mean? And it's just going on. But you have to address them appropriately now. You can't. It doesn't matter if you don't know. You better know. That's what's going on now. If you don't know what to say, then you're uneducated in this area, and you better know what to say, or I'm coming against you. And that's what's going on right now.
We're gonna play a video.
Yeah.
So
So let's get off into this video.
So our title is Transgender Rights. Call them by their chosen name or else. So I'm gonna play this little short video really quick here, and then we're gonna dive into it and get started.
Conversation about convicted sex offenders and whether or not they can be rehabilitated.
No, that's
Eric Loeb.
It's not the
no, not that one.
Last week.
Yeah, that's last week, producer. It's in the docs.
Yeah, and while she's pulling that up, we living in this society where, again, there's so many, so many changes and developments that's going on with us as humans. I'll say it that way. Where some of us wants to be called she, some of us want to be called he, some of us want to be called they're not either. You know what I mean? Y'all remember that song that Prince came out with? He said it was called "I Would Die for You." Y'all remember that? And then what did he say? he said, I don't know if I'm
I'm
wrong.
not a woman.
I'm not
I'm
a
not a
man.
man. I'm
Yeah.
something that you never understand.
Never comprehend. No need to
Comprehend,
worry.
yeah.
No need to. I'm your Messiah, and darling, you're the reason why. That's. I mean, that's what's going on right now. So we're saying that I'm not a woman. I'm not a man. I am something that you never comprehend. I mean, that's crazy to me. I know this guy. I don't want to coin his statement, but let's listen to this here.
Byron Cross.
I don't. Hopefully, this is the right. Is this the right one?
Yeah, he about to walk up
My
there
name
and
is Tanner Cross, and I'm speaking out of love for those who suffer with gender dysphoria. 60 Minutes this past Sunday interviewed over 30 young people who transitioned, but they felt led astray because lack of pushback or how easy it was to make physical changes to their bodies in just 3 months. They are now detransitioning. It's not my intention to hurt anyone, but there are certain truths that we must face when ready. We condemn school policies like 80-40 and 80-35 because it will damage children, defile the holy image of God. I love all of my students, but I will never lie to them regardless of the consequences. I'm a teacher, but I serve God first, and I will not affirm that a biological boy can be a girl and vice versa because it's against my religion, it's lying to a child, it's abuse to a child, and it's sinning against our God.
Wow. Now, we're going to play this, but in a minute, we're going to also play another one because we're getting somewhere with this. We're setting the stage. Now, here's the thing to this. And I want to hear Miss Z's, I want to hear her perspective from the, but, okay, so we're getting to this situation where, it's becoming, he's bringing Christianity into this, right? And I understand that. So, is there a difference? If I'm a Christian, should I figure out should it be where I bring Christianity to my job? Because I here's the thing: I still have a job. I still have a job, but how far do this play into my religion? You get what I mean? Because it's not, is it hurting him? Is it hurting his belief if he's given an assignment? It's almost like if I work at or I need a job, right? And I'm a Christian and but I get hired in the casino. It's gambling, it's smoking, there's everything that's up in there. Now, do I take the job or do I say no because of my beliefs? I don't believe in gambling. So I don't want to associate myself in this type of work environment because it's gambling. But I don't have any food and to feed my kids. Do I go to this job or do I say, God, you're gonna have to send me another one because I know my kids are hungry, but hey, because of my beliefs, I can't work there. It's almost saying the same thing. It's my perspective and what I believe versus do I get this job? Do I take this job? And do I work this job? Because guess what? I need to work. Or I mean, I can see if it's. I digress in that area. So what we're doing is that this man, this teacher, he's saying, I guess he was sued. No, he's suing the school, but he was laid off or put on leave with pay. He was put on leave with pay because of his beliefs, and he said he don't want to lie. Now, how far has he gone too far? Let's start it there. Has he gone too far? His beliefs versus his job.
I'm gonna start with it's a fallacy when we say not bring religion to the job, because most jobs, even if you agree with holidays or not, Easter in theory is considered a religious holiday, but jobs give you that time off, acknowledging, and they pay you. They pay, like when they say separate of church and state, like if you're talking about a school is getting funds from the state, from the government, and the government is paying for people to be off on a religious holiday, Christmas, that's Easter, right. And so they're taking taxpayer money. So to say that there's not an intersection of religion is not being, is not being honest. Another piece of that is, and I'm gonna go back, I guess to the school piece where, when it comes to that, The key is the behavior of the teacher, because let me give you an update. They said he had freedom of speech. He's reinstated. He got appealed. I don't know, Supreme Court or whatever. Now he's back on the job because they said he could say what he want to say.
Yeah.
But they said the thing is he discriminating? Is he, if he's teaching math, the ones that have the gender identity, what, you know, whatever the chosen identity, is he treating them differently? But as long as he's educating everyone, he can have a personal belief about what he wants, as long as he's not discriminating or treating them differently. So, and I think, and my last point is, and I'm a huge advocate of this, your freedoms ends at my personal space. And what does that mean? For example, you can choose to, if you say if you're a biological boy, you can say you're a female. If you're a biological female, you can say you want to be a boy. You can say, I'm neither, I'm neutral. All those things, right? But, and that's your choice. But when you say that now when you come to my personal space, you're saying that despite my religious beliefs, when I see that you're biologically a boy, you want me to call you she, and I don't have to do that. Now you're coming to my space. But what I will do, whatever your name, like in a school record, when children register, they get a CA60 form. Whatever name is in that, I'll call you that. That's fine. But you can't make me call you a he or she if I know biologically you're the opposite. Now you're infringing on my freedom of religion.
Well, let me ask you about
that. Yeah.
Let me ask you about that document again. Now, what type of document is that again?
It's a CA60 file, and what it is when kids register, the parent bring in the birth certificate and all that stuff, and it's part of that file in the office. So I look at what's on that file, and then now if the parent come in with a new birth certificate and change the CA60, then I'll call you that name.
That's right. I got you.
I'm calling you what's on the official document.
Oh,
what if that calls you your job?
It shouldn't.
That's why he back on the job.
Yeah.
Because how could it?
Yeah. Legally,
that's an official document. I'm calling you what's on a legal document the parent signed and said this is who this person is.
Right. So what we're saying is that now, and I don't know if it's every school, but in terms of this particular school, they told him, hey, listen, you have to call whoever this person wants to be called. If he says tomorrow I want to be called she, the school is saying you have to call. Is that what they're saying? This person has to be called a she. Is that what happened with this gentleman?
Based on that pronoun, if that's what they choose.
Oh,
so what about
that's where it gets confusing at? That's where it gets confusing at. And I think it's a difficult job for a principal who has a ton of other responsibilities for a school system and dealing with children with other behavior issues to worry about what you decide to change when you woke up this morning. And that can be frustrating, and it can be frustrating to the principal. Is still human. We can't separate our beliefs from who we are when we step into our place of employment. That's not realistic. But if you're Jenny on if you're Jenny on the school file, I don't think that's disrespectful because that's who you are on your file. Now, my issue was
tell us the whole story.
My daughter went to it was the school. They believe in alternative lifestyles, and I got a call from the principal one day, and I was an active parent. So the principal was a nice principal. He knew what type of parent that I was, but my daughter was called into the office, and he had to give me a call because my daughter called somebody their wrong pronoun. And she was in the office, but the thing was my daughter said, well, just last week or the week before, they was this and they was that. Like, I don't have time I don't know who they are today. And last week they was this, so I called them this, and then they pronoun changed, and then the student went to the office and complained, saying that my daughter was basically disrespecting her, not honoring her pronoun. So as a mother, that frustrated, man, my child frustrated my daughter because she got to the point where she said she wasn't even going to talk to other students. She was just going to stick with her circle because she didn't have time to be called in the office because she didn't know what pronoun to call them that particular day.
Wow.
And see, that's the situation that we at. I mean, so now, how was the person? How in terms of your daughter? Was she punished for that? What happened? What happened to her after they figured everything out?
Well, the principal and I had a good relationship, so we talked about the personality of my daughter and the character that she has, and I did reference that. I get that we're supporting the children who wants to live this lifestyle, but it's unrealistic to think that if they change today, that a student who they may not talk to, maybe they need to. A teacher wants them to get the student. Are you supposed to say what's your pronoun today to find out how to approach them? But when we talked, he agreed that wasn't my daughter's character, but he had to call and address it because the student came and made a complaint. So, yeah.
And now, okay. So is this a public school or private school?
It was a charter school.
Okay, charter school. Okay. Yeah, okay, so this is where we at. I see this thing growing into something big where now it's gonna be it may be a policy. It may be put into the school's policies where you have to change. Now, I can see if you coming into the school, and like you said, if it's on your birth certificate, then and that's one thing. But I mean, I guess with this teacher, he's looking at it differently. He's looking at it where, hey, listen, I'm a believer, and I don't want to lie to this child who say that he's a she when he's really a he. And I feel like that's coming against me as a believer, lying to the child. So now it's more religious based than it is more of a moral factor here. You get what I mean? That's what it sounds like to me. He's looking at it not in a moral perspective, but a religious perspective. Should we bring that perspective to school where we coming in with a religious perspective? You get what I mean? Or do we leave our religion at the door? You know what I mean? When we walk into the school, do we leave our religion at the door and say, yeah, I'm a believer outside. I mean, it's different things I can't believe in, but once it come in, then it's cool. Where if her mother lying to her or her sister, I can, say he when she's really a she. Or am I playing into this and I'm helping the matter out to really continue to. I don't want to use. I got to make sure I make we use the right words.
Confused.
Yeah. If you want to use it, confused. I don't know. Again, guys, we're just having a conversation. Yeah. Before I go there, let me let you know, we're not against gay people. We're not against transgender, gay, transgender. We're not against. Everybody has rights. You get what I mean? We all have rights. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about what how far should I play into the pronoun game just so it can please you and how you feel. And before we even say, Jasmine, I want to go to this next video that Dave Chappelle talked about. I want you guys to hear this. This is fair use. I think it's more of a video audio because I don't want to play the video because we don't have rights to the video, but let's just play the audio.
Wine and cheese and ball of conversation. And there was a few eccentric types, one of which was a very wealthy man that happened to be wearing a dress. I don't know what you call him, man. This is a tranny or drag queen, perhaps. Whatever it was definitely a man. And this man was definitely on drugs. I don't know what kind of drugs he's on, but I knew he had too much. He didn't look good. Like this, he's like, he looked sick. And all his friends were standing around him, concerned, trying to revive him. I don't know whether it looked like some kind of gay CPR. There was fanning and shit. I saw all this from a distance. Now, I should have minded my own business, but I got curious. I was like, And I went over there. All I said, excuse me, gentlemen, is he okay? And then they looked at me like I was evil. She is fine. I said, word? Oh. I'm sorry, I didn't know this is what we were doing. Here's my thing. I would support anybody's right to be whoever they feel like they are inside. I'm your ally in that. However, my question is, to what degree do I have to participate in your self-image? Is it fair that I have to change my whole pronoun game up for this motherfucker?
All right, you can cut it there because there's some cussing about profanity. This is a clean show, family show. But look what he said. He said, do I have to change my pronoun game up for you, for your own self-image? And I guess that's where we are. You know, we're not playing or talking down to whoever you are or whatever you want to be called, but how far do I have to play into your image of who you are or who you're trying to be? And I think that's where we're going to clash at. I think that's where we're going to have problems at in the school districts, where somebody may not want to do that. So, somebody may know this person as John, and when they come back to school next year, they're called Sheila.
They change their name.
Because they changed their name, and they're expecting for the teacher now to call you Sheila. Is this a big deal? What do you guys think? Do you think this is a real, or is it something that we should just, it's something that's going to happen. We need to play into it. Like, what should we do? Should we just let it go and say, hey, if that's what this person want to be called, call them that? What do you think about that? Anybody?
I don't think it's confusing. I think if you go the whole 9 and maybe get a surgery or legally change your name, and if you go that route, then yes. But if you're someone who still isn't 100% for sure on who you are every day when you wake up, I don't think I should. If I speak to you, I don't think it should be an issue about whether or not I call you this pronoun today and tomorrow, because you're changing up all the time. So yeah, if you go the whole 9 and you do the surgery and you get your name changed, and now this is clearly who you identify as, I can do that. But it shouldn't be confusing. And I think the most respectful way is just to call the individual by what we can physically see. And that sometimes that's just a he or a she.
Yeah.
And we have, are you about to read it?
No, I'm going to read. Go ahead and read that and I'll read something else.
So from Tatiana, in middle and high school, it wasn't exactly common to hear students wanting to be called a different pronoun. However, now that I'm in college, yes, it is more expected than the student telling us it was required. But at the same time, my coworker advised me she wanted to be called they instead of her.
Isn't it?
Wow.
That's Tatiana.
So, yeah,
that's our daughter.
Yeah.
Tatiana. Shout out to Tatiana.
Wow. So that's deep.
What did she say? They wanted to be called. Now,
they.
What is a they? How do
they?
Somebody educate me in that? RW3. You the educator. What is this? What does it mean when someone says they?
It just
my eyes wide open.
It's outside of a particular gender. It's not her. It's not like he, his, but it's they.
Well, but so what do when I walk in the room? I say, "Hey, what's up, they?" Why? Why can't I just use a name? Why do I have to say they? Can I say, "Hey guys," or "What's up, person"? I gotta say they. Like, what does that mean? RW3. What do you think? Well, what does that mean? They.
Well, Tatiana says she just say, "Hey guys." She don't say anything. She'll just say, "Hey guys."
Tatiana don't know what they is. I don't know what the heck. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know when you say call me they. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
So let me just read this really quick. Keeping up with the expanding ideas of gender has been particularly salient among young people, including at school. It was a high school student who the administrator was actually got in trouble because they did not want to call the pronoun for the graduation. So they put a petition out to fight against the school because of the administration did not, want to, call the pronoun name as they were crossing the stage. So that was a big issue as
Oh, so
well.
We're not going to say this is they walking across the stage, or this is she.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess you have to say this person will want to be called they. So here is they that's walking across the stage now, people. That just, I mean, doesn't that sound confusing though? It's confusing to everybody else that, you could say here's Dirt. Or there's somebody that's probably named Dirt. But here's, Car. This person want to be called Car. I mean, how far do we play into this thing where it's like, just because you want to be called it, do I have to be? Am I going to be in trouble because I choose not to use that pronoun? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, somebody got to help me understand this. And how far are we going to play into this? Because it's going to get deeper than this, guys. You're going to get to your job.
I don't know. It's only 4 of us here, so imagine how many other people are confused or don't know, not for sure what to say. Then we're talking about a whole language that's been made to identify certain individuals to make it easier when communicating with people. But another situation that happened at my daughter's school was they said they sent it in the bulletin at the end of the school year, like a last newsletter, probably nobody read because it was the end of the school year. Then come the beginning of the school year, we found out that they had turned, it was 2 sets of bathrooms, a 2-story building, that they were making all of the bathrooms gender neutral bathrooms.
Yeah.
Meaning whatever you identify as today, you could just go in that bathroom. And a bunch of the parents and I got together, brought the issues to the school. We had a whole meeting with the school district. And what they end up doing is making one set of the restrooms gender neutral and the other set of bathrooms gender specific. And that was another thing that my daughter encountered. She used to say she didn't even want to go to the bathroom. Because now it's like,
boy might walk in there.
You don't know, right? You don't know. It could be a boy dressed like a girl, and she's like, I don't even go to the bathroom. And now I'm on the talk of that's not healthy. You got to go if you have to go. But she was just, you don't know who is going to walk in the bathroom because they pronouns and who they are from one day to day change so much.
Oh,
Does that mean that a female can walk into a men's bathroom
if they identify as a boy?
In the gender neutral bathrooms, and they were going to make all of the restrooms gender neutral. So I guess the compromise that the parents had to do is make one set of bathrooms gender specific and gender neutral. But I know she told me one time that there was an individual who went into the gender specific bathrooms who probably shouldn't have been there. So it's just still confusing. But then, I would say that we also have to pay attention to the mind of young people. Sometimes they can be manipulative in certain things and, be mischievous just because of their age. So anything can happen. So it was to the point where, she didn't even want to go to the restroom at school.
And you know what? Let me segue into that. And you said something very powerful. What I thought about because I'm thinking about me as a young boy, and I don't know, Tone. Depending on who we was running with at the time, we might have been liable to say, "Hey, I'm female today," just to go in the girls' bathroom.
Oh, wow.
You're right.
As a boy, we might have just said, "Oh, I'm," especially certain guys we was rolling with. We'd be like, "Hey," and this is why I think the challenge. Another reason why I don't think, in terms of allowing, 18 is still young, but until you become an adult to make those decisions, think about this, y'all. You can't drink illegally alcohol till you're 21. They're saying if you're under 21, you can't make a wise decision if you ought to drink alcohol. You can't join the military until you're 18 because they said you don't have the cognition to make a decision about going to the military. I went in when I was 17, but guess what? My mom had to agree because they said at 17, I couldn't make a life-changing decision like that. You can't be 18 to vote. They said you don't have the cognition to be able to determine who the president of the United States should be.
That's right.
You can't be the president, Tom, until you're 35. Yeah. They said you're not wise enough to be able to run the country.
That's right.
And then in terms of sports, the NFL, because of the body and the maturation of a grown man, you can't go to the NFL till 2 years past high school graduation. They said you're not developed.
And so then psychologist says that a child's brain, a teenage brain, doesn't really develop until their age 26 years old. So like you have allowing this child to make a decision, and their brain ain't even developed fully yet. So they're making the decision, at a very young age. We should do
free fall in. Let them decide to drink. Let them decide to smoke.
Yeah, you might as well.
That's just free fall. Since we feel that they can make such a decision about if they're man or woman, and some parents are allowing them to change, go into operation mode. If they can make that decision, this is hey.
Yeah, they might as well go and let them go live by by themselves at like 15, 14. They making all these big decisions. Go let them, do something.
Do whatever. I mean, it was two statements that was made. I think. What was the comments that was made? Could you pull them back up? Can you read that? Can you see that? What is it say?
I am not sure what they is either. I literally don't know how to use it. So that is why I avoid it, respectively.
And what is this one?
In high school, there were a few students transitioning, and they would let the teacher know what they wanted to be called, and the teacher would inform the other students of that student's preferred gender, and no one made a big deal out of it.
And see, that's the thing. That's the part where that's the dangerous part. Where it's like, it sounds innocent, where, it's almost like, hey, I'm about to go out of school, but I'll be back next week. I'm in this transitioning process and, call me Sue next week, but what if you forget to do that? I mean, because you're so used to calling this person by their other name. And like you say, your daughter, she didn't know because she's saying, hey, listen, last week you was this person. So, I mean, I don't know how to keep up. You know what I mean? How can I keep up? And then you're going to fault me for this? You're going to fault me? I mean, come on, for real. That's what we're doing. Make it make sense. Like they say, like young people say, make it make sense. Because this doesn't make sense.
Very offensive. They'll get very offensive if you keep calling them by the name that they don't want. So
I mean, it's just that's what's going on in this world. We're gonna have to, and here's the thing, guys, it is accepted. People don't make this out of a big deal. They don't really make this out of a big deal unless they are Christian. And that's the truth. Unless they're Christian, I don't know too many people outside of being a Christian that's making a big deal out of it. At least it's not been in the news where people can see. But believers, Christians, are looking at this thing and say, hey, wait a minute, this is an issue now because you're making me tell a lie and you're right and what I believe. So I don't know, guys. It's gonna be a touchy situation. It's gonna be, and this is gonna snowball. It's going to be a snowball effect. It's going to grow. It's going to become big. Right now, it's still out there, but now these people, there are people there. They are moving into this area, and they're becoming these. They're changing. They're changing. So I think we have to definitely talk to our kids and let them understand what's the process, what's going on.
And let me tell y'all this, just in the same vein. I saw it on the news, but the exact language, it says, like, I don't know if y'all heard about this. Florida's Republican governor signed a bill on Tuesday barring transgender females from playing on public school teams intended for student athletes born as girls. So he signed a bill that if you are a boy transgender, you can't play on girls' teams.
Because see, that was the thing that I think that they passed that with didn't Joe Biden and his team pass that where you are, and then they came against it, I believe, because it was becoming a great. It's still, I think they're talking about it I think I seen something recently from this transgender teacher who was talking about how that's unfair because every male body is different, so you can't say just because you're a male that you will play hard in sports on a girl's team. It was something to that degree. So they was like, that's debatable because it depends on how physically active you are, and maybe you don't have that strength. But that's not really true. I don't know about the physics, and I'm not good in that area, so I don't know how to reference that. But I guess all I'm saying is that this is going to be an issue. You know, it's going to be an issue. I don't think it's fair that a girl would play on the boys' basketball team or a boy play on a girls' basketball team. I think they should it doesn't matter. You could still call yourself a female if you're gonna call yourself a female and play on the boys' team. You know what I mean? Because you still should be able to take whatever is gonna come on that court. Because I mean, I don't want to sound, you know what I mean? I'm trying to stay away from certain words.
But wouldn't it be uneven? Like if you have a guy on a girls' team that's transitioning to a girl, and then he's going to be stronger than that girl. He could, like, if it's football or something like that, or he would probably get the upper hand because he's built differently, even though he is, a transitioning, but his body is built different from a woman's body.
So let me tell you what the NCAA is doing. They said if you in college and the transgender piece, they're required to, in order to play sports, if you're transgender, you have to get treatment to lower your testosterone to a certain level that's acceptable. You can't, in the NCAA, you can't play. So you can't do the transgender transition without getting the treatment to lower your testosterone, which is part of being a male of strength. So in high school, they don't have that element. So even the argument that the lady said about, all male, but the testosterone is what it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was gonna go there, but I don't know enough about the science in that area. But I mean, yeah, that's what it is. You know what I mean? Hormones, pills that they're taking and everything. I don't know if it desensitizes or I don't know what it does because I'm not a scientist or anything in that area to know.
Well, it can help, like for a woman, if she lower her progesterone levels, I don't know. And the testosterone, if a lady is getting that,
testosterone is for the male.
I know, but if a woman is getting a treatment that's trying to transition, it's going to start growing a beard. She's going to start growing the things of a man. That's what I thought.
But is she going to be hard as a man? Is she's going to be more? Yeah. And I'm not saying all men are just forward tough. You get what I mean? I'm not saying that they are. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I don't know. It's something that it's something. Here's the thing. I think it's something that we definitely going to hear more about, and it's going to get hot in the kitchen, right? I believe it's going to get hot in the kitchen. We're going to hear more of these stories. It's going to be, we just going to have to talk to our kids. We're going to have to educate our kids in this area. I'm not saying that you shouldn't walk in peace. You know what I mean? Yeah. We all should walk in peace, but this is a tough one, guys. This is a tough one. Because somebody may say, hey, listen, if they want to be called Sue, just call them Sue. If that's going to stop all of me getting the paycheck coming across the table, if they're going to stop, you know what I mean? Just call them Sue. What's the big deal? You get what I mean? That's what they're going to say. What is the big deal? And how does that mess with you and your belief system? To call this person Sue, so I don't know. Maybe it's something. I don't want to touch it. I just wanted to talk about it because it made.
Z was about to say something. Z, what was you about to say? I saw you.
Well, I don't know the percentage either, but just naturally, men are just physically stronger than women. Just period. Doesn't make a difference. That's just the nature of, a size 10 in a man, a size 10 in a woman. That's not the same size. So, so if that's nature. Now we're talking about nature, and just because you identify, it's unfair it's unfair, especially when it comes to sports, just because of the level of strength that men naturally have. And at what point do you try and say where your hormone levels in this is equal to what a woman's would be? Like it's just too confusing. I feel like if that's the case, you just need to have transgender sports. Because it still becomes unfair, and the whole point of sports is camaraderie, sportsmanship, and then it makes the sport unfair because it's just certain physical characteristics by nature that nobody can argue. So if regardless of how much your hormone level changes, but at one point, as we get older, a lot of things start changing with us. So how often is that supposed to be checked? It's just too many variables and too many unknowns. And to take something like a sport that's supposed to be competitive naturally that's why it's different weight classes in boxing.
Yeah.
So I just think it's just not fair.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I'm 100% in with you on that. I guess it's just getting down to it and wrapping it up is that, should we have to play in that narrative that of your self-image, and it starts with you confirming who I am by a name. By saying, hey, Delilah, instead of saying, hey, David. You know what I mean? Should that matter? I mean, should I be stuck put in the boat with you when I don't want to be, when I just don't want to be? I want to do what I feel that's natural for me. And this is what you were called when I seen you. So, I mean, it's up to you I think it's more of a mind thing, is a mind thing from that person on that perspective who just going down that crazy road. But we should love everyone. And that's definitely for sure. We should definitely love everyone, everybody. We should definitely try to walk in peace with man, whoever you are, but just be very wise.
So how would you feel though? Would you, if someone told you, no, call me by my pronoun, my chosen name, would you have a problem with that? Like if you were like at a workplace and it was your coworker?
Honestly,
next week, if I said, Tone, call me she, would you do it?
Or Sheila?
On the podcast.
Or Sheila?
Or maybe because I know you, it'd be different. But I'm saying, if I didn't know you, I'm going to be honest, that's a toughie. I guess I'm trying to...
Or it can cost you your job if you don't.
Well, I'm trying to evaluate this in a biblical perspective from me. I'm trying to look at my biblical radar and compare it to, how does this play into my salvation and what I call you? If it does, then of course I wouldn't. But if it do, you get what I mean? So I guess I'm looking at a name to call you this new name. I don't know. I mean, that's a toughie. That's a toughie. I don't know how to answer that right now. Today, I couldn't answer that. I'll have to do a little bit more research in it for me. But here's the thing. I shouldn't be in trouble. You get what I mean? That's the thing. I guess that's where I'm going at. I shouldn't be in trouble because I don't know. I'm confused at what I'm looking at until I get unconfused. I shouldn't be held accountable of, you lose your job. You know what I mean? Or you've been sent to the principal's office. I guess that's my biggest problem with this whole situation itself. You know what I mean? What does it say?
Me personally, to be respectful, I will call them by their pronoun they prefer. That wouldn't stop me from ministering to them or treating them with love. The producer.
Yeah. So that's a good one. I guess that's where I'm at with it. I know we want to be radical. We want to make sure we stand out as believers and all that. I get that. But I don't know. It's not that. I don't know if it's that serious. Now you coming into the bathroom, that's to me a big issue. You know, a name,
Yeah.
I don't know if a name is that serious. You know what I mean? But we shouldn't be faulted for that. And that's how the schools should look at it. Okay,
So-
here, listen, it should be the schools, and I don't cut you off, they should be in the area where they say, well, listen, they're going to do the best, students are going to do the best that they can do. We're not guaranteeing you that they're going to call you he or she, especially if they used to calling you this. So we're not going to say that they're going to get in trouble because of them not saying the right name at that day. I don't think this should be penalized. I'll say it like that. You know, what do you guys think? Don't just put me on the hot seat. What do you think?
Well, I've had to do in mental health. I have the age population I work with. I have a lot of young adults that live in alternative lifestyle, and I ask out of respect. But oftentimes I'm just going to say from the young adults I've worked with, whether they've been male, whatever, they prefer to be called a male or a female. They prefer to be called he or she. So, but I do ask out of respect, and I will, if just out of respect. But you have some, let's just say you even have some who may be off appearance-wise that may look more masculine, like a male, and if you call them a he, they will correct you and say, no, I'm a she, and vice versa. So it's really confusing, but if I'm working with people and out of respect, if you prefer that pronoun, when it comes to religion and your spirituality, that's something that you got to deal with personally. And
Right.
Personally, I don't think I'm gonna be held accountable or condemned because I decided I wanted to respect somebody.
Yeah, I don't believe that either. I think it's not taking me away from what I believe. You know what I mean? Now, I'm totally against the bathroom situation. I'm not in agreement with that.
Yeah, so I want to know
so-
about this bathroom thing. So, like, should it be where if they haven't transitioned, like with the operation? I think that if they haven't gotten that operation, they should not go in there. Like if it's a ladies' restroom and they haven't did the operation, they should not go in there. If they still have the male part of their body there, they should not be in that the ladies' restroom at all. That's
Right.
what I feel.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The surgery is a whole different perspective. You know what I mean? Now, I mean, you still, to me, a man, you know what I mean, regardless, but if you had the surgery, then, I mean, that's, whatever.
And
You know what I mean?
this is the thing. In this whole process, somebody has to be uncomfortable. Let me start with that. So the thing is, who's going to be uncomfortable? I don't think it's fair, like what Lady B said. So because you're transitioning, but you still have the genitalia of a male, but have said, I'm a female, is it fair to make the other 6 females in the bathroom feel uncomfortable? So my thing is, since you made this decision, you be uncomfortable in the male restroom until you go through the whole transition and become that then. Because somebody so I don't think we should be uncomfortable because of your decision.
Yeah.
Now, but once you transition, that's something else. But prior to the transition, you need to be a little bit uncomfortable until you transition.
Yeah.
As long as nobody bullying you, picking on you, and messing with you, and letting you be, the ladies shouldn't have to be uncomfortable.
That happened to me as an adult out in the public restroom, and I noticed that the feet was facing the other way, and somebody was using the bathroom. I left out the bathroom. That happened to me before. I just left the bathroom like, this is crazy. I'm not going in it. Because it was obvious from what I saw. The feet was facing
and that could be really dangerous for women, some women, because you don't know if this person is going in there like RW3 said earlier. They could be a rapist, they could be anything, and they could pretend like, I'm a girl, and have a skirt on, and go up in there and be raping women.
That's right.
So I mean, this can be really tricky.
You definitely making it a lot easier for whatever that predator wants to do. You're making it easier for him. So I think that we're somewhere where there should be a law. If they're gonna, I think Obama passed. To be honest, I believe he's the one to sign that in. I'm not really. I really believe it was him.
I believe he did too.
Yeah, it was Obama. But my thing is that you would think that they would have said, and Ms. Z made that was great what she said about there should be a transgender or whatever. I think you said bathroom only for trans bathroom just for them, and then that'll cut down all of that. There's a bath. If you're gonna do it, then do it in perspective. You know what I mean? Don't just sit here and just say, "Hey, I'm gonna gang you in there now." It's gonna be some guys coming in there. They trans, they turn, but they fine.
So what is it going to transgender men and transgender women going in the same?
Yeah, it should be both.
Going into the same one bathroom. Transgender men and transgender women going into the same one.
Well, it should be different bathrooms, like it's man and women for them.
Transgender
I don't
women, transgender men.
Right.
I didn't think
that's
about
gonna be a whole bunch of bathrooms.
I don't think so. I don't think so, because I think it's a level. I would think if you're living that lifestyle, that there's a level of understanding among that community. So I think that they'll probably feel more safe being amongst other people who have the same thought processes as them. So
let me add, just for the sake of the podcast, I want to say this to all the listeners, that when we talked about predators, we are not suggesting that transgender or lesbian, gay, or anybody has a predatory approach to their predators. We want to be clear. That was an example, but we're saying we want to be clear.
What about unisex? What about unisex?
Anything like that?
That's right. RW3.
Yeah, that's right. RW3. Lovely T said, "What about unisex?"
I ain't think about Lovely T.
Yeah. I mean, unisex is a thing where, you gonna throw that in there too. I mean, you know what I mean. But I'm saying just to cut down on your child taking a chance or you being raped by somebody. When I mean predator, let me say what let me put it in when I mean predator, I mean someone who's faking.
Right.
They're pretending like they're trying to be somebody that they're not.
Right.
Well, they're pretending to be with the wrong mindset. They want to go in there to do the wrong things. That's what I mean when I say about a predator, because they are out there, and that's the perfect
and then
setting.
That would be terrible, because then everybody will start looking at the transgender community like we're not safe now, with them if something like that did happen. So that would be really bad.
It would be bad. So guys, obviously we have to walk in love. We have to do the right thing. Don't be like that RW3. That's what Lovely T said. Don't be like RW3.
If somebody got time to listen and comment, they could be on here.
Yeah,
so I ain't paying attention to what she's saying. Clearly,
so you gonna put her out there like that? That's right.
I'll put her out there.
She enjoying her vacation. Vacation. But guys, that's the thing, and that's all we're saying. We don't want to play a part, or some people don't want to play a part of your self-image. We don't believe that that's necessary. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with calling somebody a name. If a name doesn't affect. I don't believe names affect Christianity. And last time I checked my Bible, I don't believe that. And I know you can get into that saying that, well, you're lying to them. Well, I'm calling you a name, not I'm not saying now that he or she. I think that can get a little bit getting into that, being a little etchy, sketchy in that area. But I'll just prefer to call you by that name. He or she, I don't know. Now we're getting a little bit more complicated into the details. He or she.
The school administrations, so when they're crossing the stage, should they call them by their name on the record or the chosen name?
Whatever's on the diploma. What's on the diploma I'm giving you?
Yeah, with the diploma,
I'm gonna read the diploma
yeah.
here.
Yeah, because see here now you dealing in the legal aspects of you hiding our identity. So if you're being called in whatever that paper was, our W-3 said from the beginning, based on the birth certificate, then that's the name that I'm going to call you when you cross that stage.
So what happens when the police pull them over? And they say, well, no, I don't want to use my ID name. I want to call me by my chosen name.
They can't do that.
Right.
Yeah, they can't do that unless they change the laws for that to happen. Then,
or again, I'm going back to this. If on your college application you put she, if whatever you're putting on your legal documentation, I don't have a problem calling you your name. I don't.
Yeah.
If she is on there, I'm gonna call you she. If that's on there, but like I said before, if I decide today, hey, I'm actually this Z. What if I say, hey, I identify as royalty? You gonna start saying, Z, moving forward, I want you to call me Your Majesty. Are you gonna do that? Yes or no, Z? Yes or no?
No.
Yes or no? You I thought you were respect me.
No.
I identify as majesty, as royalty.
Right.
Well, maybe that brought me to a point. No to that answer. Yes or no, no will do. But the answer, I guess, so is that something, you know how you fill out an application and it's male, female, they have your race, maybe they need to put some radio boxes there to say which pronoun you want.
Just right.
They probably will if they ain't already done it. If they haven't already done it.
I've seen that on some type of different application.
Yeah, they said or other. Do you want to be called other? I think that's nationality.
No, it'd be that'd be nationality.
Yeah, that's not. I don't have anything because legally you could be hiding yourself if you say I'm a guy when you really a girl. When you run up in
about a female thing, it does say female. I've seen it on some different type of stuff. Female, male, or other.
Maybe it's some legal aspect to that.
Don't understand why you won't call me Your Highness. That's what I'm asking you. Why? I'm asking you. If I tell you,
I was listening to Lady B and her point.
Right. If I identify as royalty, why won't you call me Your Highness, Z? Tell me.
Because it's not your name.
Because that's not your name. That's why it ain't your legal name.
She just told me, hold on. She just told me with the other, she said she respect them. You ask them what they want to be called. How come she can't ask me that too?
What is your question?
How come you cannot ask me what I want to be called?
Because
so what do you want to be called? Your Highness?
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think that's something that is definitely so confusing. It's so. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It's not confusing. It's just crazy.
Well, they would say that some people are uneducated. That's the word.
I don't know how educated I need to be on something that I was born with. He or no somebody to be a he or a she. I'm not confused because I know exactly what's going on. But my thing is that again, I know we have to just, if we're looking for peace, if we're looking to pursue peace, then you're gonna have to I don't want to say play the game, but you're gonna have to respect all people. You're gonna have to respect all people what they want, but I don't think that you should be in trouble. Again, that's what I'll say, that you should be penalized for you saying that, you know what, I'd rather not. But you might get more done if you respect that situation. Because if you at your job and Tom walk in and say, my new name is Tammy, respect it. Then if you're going to talk to Tammy or get some something going on with him, or you're gonna probably have to call her Tammy, or they're gonna not want to talk to you at all. You know what I mean?
So Mark is checking in on us. Thanks, Mark Justice. Mark says, my personal concern is no one else's choice should superimpose me to pretend to be delusional. I refuse to call a person with male parts Mary or she. Thanks, Mark. Mac Justice.
And that's the thing is that I get that. I do get that. It just, I'm looking at it from the area of what's in it. Now, what if that person was your boss? That boss. Now, here's the thing. Now, what if that person is your boss and your boss had a change? and your boss tell you from now on, she said, I want to be called Samantha. You know what I mean? And that could happen. That's something that can actually happen now. This is my new name. And what are you prepared to do? Are you now? Don't we can't mess it up because money on the table now. See what I mean? So I guess what I'm saying.
You know what I'm gonna do? If it's
school.
Samantha Johnson, I'm like, Johnson, can I talk to you for a second?
You said
what?
Not?
Like Johnson. I'll just be Johnson. Like if it's Samantha Williams, I say, Williams, can we have a meeting? Or I just email. Or I just start talking. I'll be like, I got this paper. Could you review this for me? Or I email, I mean, I'll just talk to her without saying nothing.
Hey,
you got some people there to charge it. They'll see how far they can go to get next to you. I mean, you get what I'm saying.
Max says, how about I just call Tom, who just converted to Tammy, hey you, or hey boss.
Yeah, I mean but here's the thing in that. You have to be wise. That's what I'm going at.
Yeah,
you definitely, and that's just using wisdom. That's it. Don't mess your job up because of something that you refuse. Just find some wisdom in that area and learn how to deal with it in a wise way instead of being so where no, I ain't doing that. Then here now you lose your job. Now you.
But some of these people that's transitioning, they're losing their jobs because they were getting mad at co-workers because co-workers are not remembering to call them by their pronouns, so they're getting like mad. They're probably getting mad, and then they lose their job because they're getting so mad with co-workers and stuff. Yeah,
that comes with the profile. I mean, whatever we do, whatever we put in is what we're going to get out. So I mean, it's part of it until it subsides, where everybody recognizes who you are. Everybody is not going to want to be on the same team that you want them to be on. They're going to be on the opposite. So you just got to. The wisdom is the biggest. Wisdom is the biggest thing that I would say. Wisdom, a lot of people don't understand. Wisdom is defined as skill. That's what wisdom is. Wisdom is using skills to deal with this situation. So if you look at wisdom and the really defined word of wisdom is under the word skill. So, using skills, you're going to have to use some skills in this situation. Yeah. Be wise. Just be wise, people, because the world is coming at you. Mm-hmm. It's definitely coming at you. And it's looking for you to exactly to that word, do as thy will. They want whatever they feel they want to do.
Well, maybe we should come up, some counter pronouns for us who may feel a little indifferent, uncomfortable, or confused need to come up with in order for dealing with individuals to not be disrespectful and to not know what to say. Maybe there's another set of pronouns that need to be added into our vocabulary to make it respectful. And at the same time, if you don't know, I'll just call you this or whatever that pronoun is.
That's true. That's true. We got to get to work, guys. We got to get to work.
Real quick, the last one from Lovely T. I don't know who she is, but she said, this issue is complicated and people have varying degrees of comfort. I agree with Tone. Hate will never win. Lovely T. Then she says, hey, Z.
Yeah, it's the truth. Hey, it's the truth, so we just got to play fair and do it right, and you can get more accomplished when you just try to piece this thing up. You know what I mean? Again, it is what it is, and let's see how far this thing goes. Let's see how far this thing goes. I believe we're not going to hear the end of this. There's going to be some more lawsuits going forward. It definitely is. So guys, look, put your seatbelt on and get on the roller coaster. So it's going to be a ride, and we're going to be all in it. So it's nothing. You're about to be challenged. You're about to be challenged, and your moral compass is about to be challenged. You believe that? Believe it or not, it's about to be challenged. So I think we got some things on the horizons. Now they saying UFOs and unidentified objects are real. This coming from your own government, the whole 9 yards. So we about to be challenged with some things. I don't know. Let's just see what happens. It isn't impossible. All right.
In position on my right.
Okay.
How did they get up
Just
there?
be
That thing.
respectful. Yeah, just find a way to just be respectful.
Yeah,
Yep, that's
that's
right.
the bottom line.
That's right. Be
That's the
found way,
bottom
be
line.
perspective, and still hold dear to what your belief and your faith is. You
Yes.
just got to be wise. What is that old scripture? Be wise as a
Dove.
serpent. Be harmless as a dove, but
and
wise as a serpent. You know, and that's a fact. When you're going into the workforce, that's what you actually have to be cognitive of. You actually have to sit down and think now. You know, you just can't randomly get up and start saying stuff off the top of your mouth. You have to think. We can do this. You know, that should be the new. We can do this.
We can do it.
You can
Take
do
your
this. I
time.
mean, even though systems change, we can do this. We just have to be wise so that we can respect all people and still keep what it is you believe, as well as your faith. And I believe that all you have to do is just be wise. Just figure this thing out. You know, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna pray about it. Ask God and let him give you some type of wisdom in this situation. So yeah, I don't know why I'm faking it. And when I know that I'm gonna pray about it. Hey, Lord, what you want me to say to this person? Lord, I don't know. So I mean, because he know more than I do, definitely. So be led by the Holy Spirit if that's what you do. But anyway, guys, we're gonna
real
leave
quick.
it
Last thing, Mac Justice, he getting that lovely tea before we leave for the day. He said to Lovely T, it's an imposition on his rights. We have to find mutual ground. So Lovely T saying what somebody imposing her on, Mac Justice has got at her. Don't say that enough, Lovely T, because we ain't reading it. Because we about to shut down.
You know, it is what it is. I mean, you know, we are imposing if we allow it to look that way. You know what I mean? It depends. Now, if it's coming outside of saying, making you do something, like again, I'm totally against the girls' bathroom, men, and I don't want my son. I don't want a female walking in or in the bathroom with my son, and I don't want a male walking in the bathroom on my daughter. So that's a whole different perspective to me. You know what I mean? That's different than just a name. You know what I mean? If it infringe in that area, to me, that's really infringing on my rights. You know what I mean? That's what I call infringing on my rights. You know what I mean? If you're forcing me to accept something in the area where you know it's something that it's just not and I'm gonna get and I feel the same way about sports. You know what I mean? I don't think that a female should play a male, be on the same team in the same locker room, and vice versa. I just don't believe that. You know what I mean? So I don't think that's fair.
And where Z feels that she has to walk out of a female restroom.
Right.
That's someone is standing up, urinating.
Yeah. Now, to me, that's something that we need to be concerned about. You know, because you don't know if that guy that had you seen those feet turn the other way, what he was really in the bathroom for. You know what I mean? Maybe he was about to pull a move on somebody. We don't know if there's a rape that could have occurred, and that's just and now it's I mean it's so much in that. That's loaded right there. So we have to be wise. And whoever signed that bill into office, you better start thinking. You know what I mean? You better rewrite that bill and do something else and put some more laws up there, because your name gonna be attached to whoever wrote that bill. If there is some rapes that come up or some things that happen, you're gonna be responsible because you put that. You put that. Well, you can't sue the government or the president. That's not gonna happen. But you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So, but guys, we digress from this conversation. Ms. Z, we thank you
for joining
us and telling us about your experiences in this real conversation that's really going on, and I believe it's a lot more that's going to take place. Guys, if you like it, share it. We just talking, guys. I mean, it's just a conversation. You know, we talk about issues that come public and give our perspective and our opinion in this situation. If you like to leave a comment, leave a comment. If you have something that you want to talk about, hey, send us a message. You know, email us. Or email. First, send us a message and let us see what you're saying. And then if we like it, guys, we'll bring you on the show, or you don't have to come on it at all. I wasn't really saying it to bring you on the show. I was saying that maybe we'll look into what you're saying and talk about it. That's what I was going to. So if you have something that's interesting to you, if you want us to talk about it, if you send us an email, producer, can you put the email up? I don't know. Do we have an email below the screen, on a lower third below the screen? If you want to put that up, something up that if you have a topic that you want to talk about, or you want us to look into maybe if it's interesting, we'll do some research and come and bring it on the show and talk about it. You know, and I think that they've passed in Florida. Florida, shout out to Florida's governor out there. They're making some moves out there. I think that they were even signing into bill that these social media platforms can get sued or challenged if they take them off air because of what they're saying. You know what I mean? And I think it started in Florida. I hope that just started to go off to all the different states where these social media platforms, you want to cut your platform because of what you're saying. I know they did it to Trump for another 2 years. Facebook, I believe, did it to Trump for another 2 years.
Maybe that's a topic for another day because we need to discuss, I think, between public and private, because YouTube is owned by a private person. So they, on their platform, they don't, freedom of speech is in the Constitution in terms of the government abridging your right for redress and to speak. That's the government. YouTube, Facebook are not government platforms. But see, people don't have to let you talk on their platform.
Hold on, but here's the thing. This is where the wrong, and then this would be good. No, the bill just passed actually to say that they're wrong, because what happens is that what you're doing is you're setting you're playing favoritism. You want them to say what you feel that is allowed to be said, but then when you feel like you don't want them to say it, they can't say it. It's almost like you're controlling the platform, and that right there, I think, is the reason why they actually won in court, to say no, you can't do that, and they can be challenged and possibly even sued because you're letting people take for instance, you can't say anything that deals with the drip. Y'all know what the drip is. The drip put in your arm. You can't say those words, but if you're talking positive about it, you can say it. You see what I mean? So that's unfair. And that's what they're suing, and they actually won.
The thing about it, Tom, but there are platforms like Fox News where you can say that. There are other platforms where people can say those things. There's some you can, some you can't.
Well, they saying that that's wrong. That's what they say, and they're being challenged now, and you could take them to court. And they started off in Florida. They just passed that bill because people on YouTube pages are getting shut down, and that's unfair. I should have the public right to speak on whatever platform that I'm speaking on, as long as it's not bringing harm to you. Then I can see that I should be able to speak whatever it is that I want to speak, and a lot of people believe that, and they're fighting that. So
like, they just cut off this Ron Johnson, I think Facebook, because I think the thing that Donald Trump said, hydrochloroquine, I got the name of it, because he said on Facebook that you should use that, they cut him off. Because they said you can't come on there telling lies and making stuff up.
Now here's the thing. I can't say that word. A lot of doctors have said that pill has been working, and they've got the proof for the many people that have come into their hospitals and they have treated them. This one black lady doctor is on there. She's saying how that pill has helped a lot of her patients, and she say they lying. So I mean, so you know what I mean. So I mean, here it is. I mean, so but you can't use that. You can't. I mean, and listen. Here's the thing I can say. They come in at Dr. Fauci with everything and the kitchen sink of saying this man needs to be thrown in prison. You see what I mean? So because of and everybody looked to him as he's this, he's a doctor. I'm listening to you, but I mean, in emails they saying that this man was been lying all about a whole lot of other different things. You know what I mean? So I mean, guys, here's the thing. It's just be safe, be smart, be wise. You know what I mean? And I digress from this conversation. So
we're gonna come visit this conversation.
Yeah, we should come and visit it. Let's like and subscribe. Maybe it'll be another topic that we'll talk about. But like and subscribe, share, guys. We want you guys to support this page. As long as you're watching, as long as we'll keep it up. And we thank you. Go to our
Yes.
Facebook. Show our Facebook some love. On our last
YouTube channel
last
too.
podcast, guys, you guys actually been paying attention. So you actually been going to the YouTube page,
channel.
looking at that last one, and I was surprised to see
Yeah.
a number on there. So, but it's going up. So that's a good thing on that YouTube page. Support us, guys. There's over 100 pods just up there. If you want to hear some good conversation, not so good, some debatable, whatever it is,
Yeah.
check us out and let us know what it is you're thinking.
Lovely
Until then, guys,
Lovely
we like
day.
to say
A
peace out
lovely
to you
day.
guys.
Lovely tea, lovely day.
Lovely tea.
Lovely
Enjoy
day.
your vacation,
A lovely
and
day.
we'll see you guys on our next one. We appreciate you stepping in and passing through, Miss Z.
Z, yes.
Kudos to you, and
I
and
enjoyed
you standing
myself.
up.
Z,
All right.
Your Highness.
All right.